Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here. Had a little internet issue there, but I think we're good. Thank you all for coming on and watching. It is Wednesday, 8:32 a.m. EST, and it's actually pretty quiet in the markets today. So we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look primarily at the NASDAQ, precious metals, a couple of Forex majors, Bitcoin, and anything that you guys request. So if there's a chart that you want to see, just ask it in the comment section, and I will go ahead and do that chart for you. That said, first I want to talk a little bit about the NASDAQ here. Really, there's not a lot going on. The NASDAQ was able to come up off that low that we talked about yesterday. So basically, we were concerned that perhaps the war might be causing price to want to fall below here, which is important. This blue line right here, that is a key level. It's not the key level, but that's a 23,870 or so. But really the important level is right here at 22,480. Now, if price did fall below this higher 23.8, that could spell a bit of trouble for markets, right? A lot of different assets would liquidate, or margins would be called. People would liquidate their positions just to be able to have funds to cover other positions, things like that. So the whole thing would cascade a little bit. Doesn't mean the whole market would crash and we would all die, but it would definitely put some pressure on the market. But if the price broke below 22,450, that level is actually pretty important, right? That level for the NASDAQ, and there are corresponding levels for the Dow, for the SP 500. If those levels are broken, that's, going to spell trouble, basically. So do understand that, right? Now, at the moment, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think what would have to occur for that would be some kind of a market event, or something really goes awry over in Iran, where, the situation appears not under control. Now, it's hard to know what's coming out of Iran, what's actually happening in Iran, right? It's the fog of war. It's, people reporting things that may not be true. There's always that whole 48-hour, 24-hour, 72-hour, all these different rules that we talk about on other media. So I'm trying to get some screens fixed here. So, we do have to understand that whatever we are being told out there may not be going on, or whatever. So it does seem, first of all, one thing that we do know for sure is that there are AI videos of all kinds of stuff being put out there. AI videos of, this many bombs hitting this area, and, we're just in 2026. So, I would definitely try to hang back. It's hard to even know which sources are trustable anymore when it comes to what's going on. My rule for that, actually, it's kind of a simple rule. When you have two different media sources that tend to disagree on things, maybe like, for example, with the Ayatollah dying, right? I'm like, okay, Trump said it, and that puts a lot of weight on it. Trump did say it, that, okay, they managed to take out Ayatollah Khamenei, right? But when I heard that news, I said, you know what? I'm going to hold off on believing that entirely until Iran confirms it, which they did. I think it was like a day later, Iran confirmed that Ayatollah was taken out. So, that's the kind of thing that I do. And to look at the charts, though, that's another type of evidence of the war, right? Like the calmness of the charts. The fact that the charts are not really moving a whole lot. Now, one could argue that it might be that there's money holding the NASDAQ up, right? There's money being, plunge protection team and all that sort of thing. But in reality, even those types of things tend to still have a lot of volatility involved, and we're just not seeing a lot of volatility at all. This is the daily chart, price staying above 24,250, right? And then if I go to the 3-hour chart, you can see price is just kind of ranging and behaving like it's been since the beginning of February, or, since like February 5th. It's just kind of back and forth in that same range. And, there's a little bit of bearishness in the higher time frame. The NASDAQ is vulnerable. That is true. So we do have to remember that. But until like the three levels of how bad it's getting are going to be a break below, I would say, really 24,240. And then if it goes below 23,865 ish, this blue line there. And of course, this is when it starts to get a little scary, if you will. I don't like the word scary, but 22,450. So that's that. In the meantime, I don't see anything urgent. Just those price levels matter, and there's not a lot of volatility. And again, this does correspond to your other indices, corresponds to the SP 500 and the Dow as well. I think the Dow itself is even a bit more pronounced here. You can see the Dow taking a hit there. So the key level for the Dow, though, is way down here at 45.3, and it's at 48.7 basically. And yeah, it took a little spill right here, just nothing that's out of the ordinary. This move down, not really, and it's being held up already. It's it's regained a good 35% of what it lost since last Thursday. So things are looking pretty calm. I'll take a look at Bitcoin. There's been a move here up to 71. I did predict this in the Monday video, or well, today was Tuesday, but my weekly video update that I put out through the newsletter, I did say that we were kind of looking at a possible move up, right? And it was just in the algos. And it's, price had gone down for so long, you're always going to get a move back up. And if I were to look at if it were to extend up further, it could go up and tap on 80, because that's where the prior liquidity is, right? This whole back and forth right here, that starts at about 80,000, and then it continues. There's 84,000, like it could go all the way up, really up to like 90,000. I don't think it will. If it did, then we're looking at maybe a possible scenario like we had in 2021, that all-time high, when it was like that double top, when Bitcoin actually came. I think it fell like 60% and came all the way back up, and even went above that high that it had made. We'll even look at that so I can show it to you. Lisa Gray, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. I'm just here doing my thing, and I like to think I'm one of the better kept secrets of the charting world, for better or for worse. So let's look at Bitcoin just to show you this example. This is 2021. I can never get rid of this pi cycle top as many times as I delete it. So you had this move up, and then in what is this? April of 21, you actually had a very strong sell-off, and it fell 56%. And then it actually reclaimed the high and went a little bit higher in November. Now, this was like right in the middle of COVID. You had kids putting their stimmy checks in. Everybody was home trading. Messing with the markets was a very profitable thing for market makers. And I don't think we're in that position right now from that standpoint. Plus the drop down that we're seeing, it looks a bit different. This move down was just a single kind of a move, flat and then up. Now we're seeing an extended drop off, an attempt to come back up, and then another rejection. So we're seeing rejections. We're seeing things that we didn't see in this other scenario, but I did want to show this to you so that you could understand that can happen. It's this, we always have to remember what is possible. I don't think this is going to happen. It is not my thesis that this would happen. Just a lot of it has to do with where we are in the market. But it's always possible. I think my thesis is something like this. You get a pop up, maybe it'll grab 80, maybe a little higher, and then you'll get the rest of the bear through the rest of the something like this. Maybe it won't take quite as long as what I just drew right there. What I drew kind of extends out pretty far, not as far as the usual scenario. But remember, the markets change and all this. But the data that we have says that the most likely scenario, if I were to actually draw this out in a proper time scale, or at least what I think is proper, is you'll get a move up here, like this month or maybe into early next month, maybe. And then you'll get a rejection, and it'll just make its way down to like 25, bottom crawl, and then you'll get a slow move up. Like not even like this. It'll be like a bottom crawl for a while, like months, maybe a year, and you'll just see Bitcoin kind of crawl. I don't think it'll go quite this low. I think 25,000 is how low it'll go. I know that's like people don't want to see that and it scares them, but Bitcoin always falls 80% off the top, and 80% off the top is down to 25,000. So that's what it's done every time before. Doesn't mean it's going to happen this time, but that's what it's done every time before. So that's the data we have. We're going to go ahead over to the private live lab. I'm going to talk to our private live lab members. We're going to do their chart requests. So go through some Forex charts. I usually, primarily am a Forex trader. We didn't really have time to go to metals today here on the live lab, but the private live lab people will get to see that. So thank you all for watching. There is a link in the description. It's a free algo. Click on that link. You will see me build the algo. It's very quick. It doesn't take very long at all. It's a very easy thing to do, believe it or not. It's a very simple algo, but it's more for example purposes. I mean, technically, it's probably profitable, but you'd have to actually know what you're doing with that. And then I show you the tools that traders use to connect that algo to their broker, so they can trade where they're not sitting at the computer, and that's really cool too. So once optimized, you can actually have the computer trade for you while you're sleeping, golfing, whatever it is. Check that out. It's free. Thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. EST, bright and early. And never forget,
join us or die.
Just kidding, you're not going to die. We love you.